Remember our investigation into the disposal of these long-life, energy-efficient light bulbs? Last year it was Target who revealed that almost no one was letting you know compact fluorescent light bulbs contain the toxic substance mercury. Even on the spec sheet we found for one of the bulbs, the word mercury nowhere to be seen. And Target discovered that lighting companies weren't telling you how to dispose of them either. Back then, we couldn't even find it on council websites. It's important because if you break a bulb, they release mercury. So, you need to take special care of them when you're cleaning them up. Because compact fluorescents, or CFLs, are said to use only a fifth of the energy of ordinary bulbs and last 8 times longer, they're said is good for your pocket and the environment. Because of all this, there's been a massive increase in demand for them, thanks in part to a drive by the government to get them in your home. But even though companies have profited because of this drive, they haven't had to put anything on the packet to tell you how to dispose of the lights properly. It's nuts, right? Now check this out. Mercury. It accumulates in our bodies. It's toxic to the brain and the nervous system. It can cause kidney problems, respiratory failure, and even death with high exposure. One company that has profited from the uptake of these bulbs is Energy Mad. The Eco Bulb was one of the 3 that met the standards set by the Electricity Commission in their promotion of compact fluorescents. In this 10-week promotion period alone, 800,000 Eco Bulbs flew out of stores and into homes near you. At 5 bulbs for $10, that's a $1.6 million return. Along with profits, plaudits came rolling in for Energy Mad and their Eco label too. Well done. Among them, awards for making a difference, for being an emerging company, and best of all, the Fast 50 award as one of New Zealand's fastest growing companies with a growth rate of over 2,700%. That's right, 2,700%. Well, no wonder with the help of a government promotion scheme. Shortly after Target last revealed the hazards of mercury in energy bulbs, Energy Mad launched a recycling scheme. Hailed as the first nationwide scheme, there were photographers, politicians, press releases, website postings. Well done! Great, so Shell service stations across the country became the place to drop off your expired compact fluorescent light bulbs. It was easy for everyone. So we went along to a few Shell stations to get rid of our bulbs, but...
no, sorry, we don't do it.
1.
Oh, we don't.
2.
I think yes.
3 stations later...
Just a minute.
And the results were confusing. So what on earth is going on? Compact fluorescent lights, or CFLs, contain the toxic heavy metal mercury, as we highlighted last year. When they break in your home, school or business, they can release mercury, putting your family's health and the environment at risk. If a bulb breaks, that's when the mercury is released. So if that happens, do not vacuum up the fragments. This spreads the mercury, but do sweep it up. Then use gloves and a damp disposable towel to collect all the pieces. Wrap all that up, including the gloves and the towel, and then it can go in the bin. Now, don't panic. The mercury content of one bulb isn't enough to kill you, but there is a danger of large amounts of compact fluorescents collecting in our traditional landfills. If a bulb like this stops working, it's the council who take care of recycling the mercury, so you need to take them to a hazardous waste area at the local tip or a Hazmobile collection. But one company did put its hand up to help reduce our landfill and possibly save the planet. Or did they? It turns out the Energy Mad recycling scheme was only a 3-month trial for a wider scheme to be developed by the Ministry for the Environment. The Energy Mad recycling scheme now only runs on a store-by-store basis, and when we called 70 stations, only 6 of them were still collecting bulbs for recycling.
I helped launch the Energy Mad scheme. I thought at the time it was permanent. That was my misunderstanding. Obviously it couldn't be. It was too expensive to run such a scheme at this stage when there are so few of the lamps reaching the end of their lives.
We contacted Energy Mad, who told us they funded the trial and are continuing to pay for this recycling. They're also working to lower the mercury content of their bulbs. But why is there still no information on most packets to tell us how to dispose of these bulbs properly?
Before you start putting labels on boxes, which can stick around for a long time, you've got to know what your message is. And until we have a nationwide recycling scheme and we can tell people how to use it, then there isn't a message that you can put on boxes.
But boxes could at least tell us that fluorescent lights contain mercury and that it's potentially hazardous, right? Energy Band told us their package show their website, and if you go there, that's where the disposal information is. They're also working with the government on labelling issues. They're not the only ones with website disposal information, but are websites enough?
I don't think direction to the website's enough. Not everyone has web access. Not everyone's going to be bothered to look it up. Labelling has obvious advantages. The label has to be really clear that this is potentially hazardous material, and here's how you handle it.
The only box we could find that had any information about mercury content and clear direction to website disposal information was, wait for it, the Ministry for the Environment. So why can't they make others do the same? Well, our target investigation has found out that they can, and they are. As well as a working group on the environmental impact of the lighting industry, there's a Green Party bill set to make big changes when it becomes law this year.
What the Waste Minimisation Bill will do will enable the Minister for the Environment to make regulations that require labelling. It will provide more facilities for disposal, and it will provide better information. It's about negotiating with the industry the best way to achieve the outcomes.
Also in the bill, manufacturers and retailers will have to set up schemes to deal with their products once they become waste. So what about other fluorescent lighting, like the long tubes you see in offices or the ones you have in your garage? They contain dangerous chemicals as well and pose a potential hazard if they break, so they need to be disposed of properly too. Target is rapt that mercury in compact fluorescence has finally been recognised as an issue. But for all the eco-talk, the biggest driver for change with these bulbs is likely to be an economic one, because lowering mercury content means lower costs for dealing with a hazardous substance. And with many countries planning to ban old-style bulbs in the next few years, it's even more important that we know how to handle and dispose of CFLs, which is why we brought it to your attention in the first place. Shame on the government and industry for not acting sooner. Still, a change is on the way, and it's better late than never.